everybody. Looks like we're going to be going into Champ Select here. Welcome to the first show match of the Learning Fives program. My name is Nibiria, and I am joined by my casting partner. Sorry, I muted myself in Discord.
All right, I'm here.
All right,
What's
I
going
just
on?
did the intro. Introduce yourself. Oops.
All right, I am end step or mid step in Twitch since I kind of forgot the password to the end step Twitch account. Um, and yeah, I'll be the color caster today.
Looks like we're having some issues.
Issues?
Yeah, League isn't showing up.
Hmm. Well, that is an issue. Well, while you work on that, I'll talk about the pick ban. So it's pretty expected. Some of these picks and bans, or well, bans. Um, we're looking at. Oh, never mind. Champion select has been canceled.
We're looking at Champion Select being canceled.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. Okay, client, we've got a client crash, so we're gonna have to wait for somebody to get back in here.
Sorry, there are going to be a few hiccups here because this is my first time hosting this stream. So it's going to be a little bit of a setup. It looks like the lobby is being reestablished still a little bit.
Yep, looks like they are reworking their order. They're in LC order. Yeah, they're reordering themselves. So going back to the pick ban, so we saw some of the stuff that I was expecting. So Quarkle's his most played in solo queue is Vi, and most of his recent games are on Vi, so that's kind of expected. Some other stuff that's expected, which we'll get back into once we get back into. Oh, what's going on? Okay, so there's just changing around there. I'm not sure what's going on in this lobby, but
Me neither, but that gives me time to work on the stream.
is the client still not showing?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do window capture.
Okay. Oh yeah, have you not captured the new?
I haven't.
Yeah, so the new client, you have to you have to set up a couple of different capture. I think I can't remember exactly how it works. Are you using the old OBS or OBS Studio?
OBS Studio.
Okay, so yeah, with an OBS Studio, you have to set up, I believe it's two window captures. I don't think you can do a game capture for the actual spectate, but I could be wrong. I mean, obviously, whatever you were doing was working, so whatever you had to works since you tested it.
Okay, it's working now, so
All right,
something.
great. And it looks like they're getting close to being ready. I can't tell. I think Team Infamous is missing their support, what it looks like.
That is quite unfortunate.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for them.
Well, this could be the shortest show match in history if that continues to be a problem.
Looks like they are saying that we need. If that's true, might be the case.
Might have to do some lobby movement. I'll put on. Actually, this is a good time to interact with the chat and see if the microphone levels are better now.
Did someone, or were they not good before?
Someone was saying that my mic was too quiet, I think.
Oh, I didn't see it. I must have missed it. Right now, I think they're all just spamming the same thing.
They are. They are.
Mic levels are good now. Someone says good. Someone says louder.
All right. We're restarting the lobby, everyone.
All right.
This is we're doing it live. We're just proving to everyone that we're actually doing a live show here by having to restart the lobby. Okay. Invite to game. Invite to game. Invite to game.
Oh, thanks, Ash Sewell. I like my YouTube channel too. Okay, so
the lobby's
getting back into
restarting
lobby.
now. Apparently, what ended up happening was the support player got banned from the lobby. So,
Yeah, that's not as unusual as you might think. As someone who's participated in many custom games, I can tell you that that is not that surprising. Yeah, custom games are notoriously finicky, so
yeah, I
it's
haven't
pretty
I
easy to
haven't started a
crash.
single custom game since the new client.
Yeah, it's even in the old client, like regardless of what client you're using, there's a lot of issues with crashes and also with kicking. Once someone's left the lobby, sometimes they won't be able to get back in. So if someone's client crashes, sometimes you have to make a whole new lobby, unfortunately.
Some difficulties with invite privileges.
Yeah, probably what you should be doing as the lobby owner is you should just not drop to spectate immediately, and then wait until some people come in and just give all of them invite privileges. And then once you have to move to spectate, you move to spectate, and then someone else will be the room owner.
Yeah. So many rules for a custom game. That's not what we wanted. Okay. Looks like the lobby's actually getting started now.
Yep. Don't quite have everybody yet, but we're getting close.
All right. Looks like we have all but one player in. All right. Lobby has been filled up. We're going into pick ban here.
All right, nice. So let's see. I believe the first ban was Oh no, it was Yasuo, and then I think the second ban was Syndra. So I'm not sure what planning on running something that has problems with Yasuo, but I didn't see Yasuo in anyone's match history. Syndra ban, Poppy ban also makes a lot of sense. Poppy D just won, mostly plays Poppy in solo queue and has been on a huge win streak with Poppy that I
Hmm.
saw in his match history. So not a surprising ban there.
Could the
Jin,
Yasuo ban be just
yeah,
because playing against a good Yasuo is a nightmare for a less coordinated team?
that makes sense, but I'm just surprised to see it when I didn't
Right.
see or a high number of Yasuo, played in any ranked season. But it's possible I just missed something, but it's probably just somewhat of a throwaway ban to some extent. Camille ban also makes sense. Champion is pretty strong right now. So Kid Clarkin going to have the first pick here for Team Infamous.
Do you think the odds are high of a Fiora pick here, considering that she's pretty strong against most of the meta tanks, except
Um,
for Poppy?
I would be pretty surprised to see a Fiora first pick. I mean, first of all, Kid Clarkin, who's the top laner here,
Mm,
is, as I said, mostly a Poppy player. Well, although it is surprising, they banned Poppy themselves. It makes a little bit more sense. They're going to pick the Caitlyn here for Ari Kaya or Kaya. I'm not really sure how you pronounce that part, but yeah, the Caitlyn here for him. That's one of his most played champions in solo queues, and it's a fairly safe first pick. So it makes some sense here.
right.
So we're going to have to see what the two first picks here, or what the two first rotation picks here are for the side. Usually, you expect to see sort of some comfort picks in this kind of show match. You picks combined with some mix of stuff that's strong in the meta, so it's hard to predict exactly what they're going to want here.
Now, what lanes should they pick here? Ideally, top and jungle, most likely.
I do think ideally they do want to slam the Maokai. Not picking Maokai in this situation is kind of a mistake. And so it's good that they're able to pick up the Maokai. As far as picking the Elise, I'm not sure about that. There are a lot of other junglers up. I mean, Rengar is open, but to some extent, of course, you're gonna have to go with comfort picks. So
Right.
if he's more comfortable on the Elise, then by all means, that makes sense. Even though there are other stronger junglers open, Lee Sin, Rengar, Kha'Zix, Hecarim, even lots of strong stuff up. So we've seen a Zac and a Morgana here as well. More comfort picks, I'm assuming.
It's a fairly strong initiation combo, isn't it? Because you can put the Black Shield on the Zac, and the Black Shield also helps defend against both the Maokai and the Elise, blocking the Cocoon and the Twisting Nether, I believe, is Maokai's W.
A twisted advance,
A
actually.
Twisted Advance.
Yes. So yes. So yeah, the Zac Morgana is strong. It is a little bit worse against champions that do a lot of magic damage. The things that's on Black Shield against Maokai and Elise is that, unlike Black Shield against like a Vi or something like that, the magic damage oftentimes they'll just pop the Black Shield within one or two abilities, and then their CC will still end up hitting you anyway.
Right.
So that can be an issue. We're also seeing a Varus lock in. That's a great meta champion. But it looks like they're hovering a Twitch. I don't know about that with the Varus, but Varus lock-in, pretty understandable. The champion is very strong in the current meta, very strong utility AD carry, and does not have any problems laning against something like Kate Morg.
So what are these bot lanes looking to do at this point? Because you have the Nami Varus on one side and the Caitlyn Morgana on the other side. Is the Caitlyn side trying to do hard engage, and then the Varus side trying to poke out and hope and win that way?
Well, in some sense, the Varus Nami is a stronger 2v2 lane. Nami in general tends to win almost every 2v2 that you put her in, aside from ones ports like Zyra and Malzahar. So the Nami Varus has a strong 2v2 advantage, especially once they hit the double level 6.
Right.
So interestingly, that's kind of an interesting point here, is that they do have an advantage. That said, they sort of have an advantage, or they sort of have a disadvantage of range, right? Because both Morgana and Caitlyn can cast their relevant abilities, or auto attack in Caitlyn's case, from well outside the range of Varus and Nami. So there is some potential for some ranged play here from Ari, Kaya, and Lol Rabbit that they could potentially just try and use their range advantage to poke them out and run the Nami out of mana.
Right. I am shocked, I tell you, to see the person named after Ari picking Ari. That is just completely out of left field.
Yeah, so
A
the Ari
truly
will
shocking
be
development here.
the Ari will be swapped over to mid, though, I'm sure. But yeah, it's not too surprising to see that pick there. The Ari will be swapped over to Soul Invictus here for the mid lane, which is an interesting pick. This is a blind pick mid lane. I mean, Ari, as far as mid lane picks go, is pretty reasonable to pick blind, so not too surprising to see.
I'm assuming this is not the Rammus mid, but I'd really like to see it nonetheless.
Hey, I mean, Rammus mid into Yasuo is a pretty reasonable pick, but outside of that, I think you're not going to be seeing the Rammus mid here. And yeah, Karma is pretty good, pretty reasonable here. One thing that's notable is that with the Karma lock-in, they're actually a fairly low damage comp. I mean, Elise does help make up for that a little bit since she is, a sort of bruiser-style jungler that does deal some damage. But Varus is a fairly low damage AD carry. Karma's a very low damage mid, and they have a tank top laner and a support that's not a mage support. So low damage here for sure from the side of NY Timberlands.
All right, we'll discuss this more after the game loads in a little bit. In the meantime, enjoy some League of Legends copyrighted music. And we'll be back in about a minute after the game loads in.
There's a fire that burns inside. It's an instinct that never lies. The target's tattooed between our eyes. Stand and fight under the lights on the higher stage. A part of your life they can't take away. Just like the blood running through your veins. Everyone's watching through your eyes. There's only two options, win or die. Win or die. Win or die. It went from a spark to an open flame. Not destiny's calling out your name. So reply, so reply. Ignite. There's a power that's underneath, and you can see it till you believe. on the edge of infinity.
All right, looks like we're loading up here.
And I should unmute myself for the stream as well, instead of just for the Discord. Alright, coming in. On the blue side, we have the New York Timberwolves, and on the red side, we have Team Infamous. So, NStep, do you want to talk a little bit about what lane matchups and how each one will go, and what we expect to be the big turning point for each team here?
Oh, absolutely. So as I mentioned, for Team Infamous, we're looking at a low damage composition. So when you have a low damage composition, look to pressure an early game advantage, and then use your, usually you have higher utility or some kind of, other advantage in terms of tankiness or something like that. And you want to try and leverage that advantage. In this case, they have a lot of CC, they have a lot of shields, and they have a lot of tankiness in general on their whole lineup. So there's lots of utilities. They're looking to leverage that into an early lead. Alternatively, from the New York Timberwolves on the other side, they're looking to either try and scale up with the hard scaling champions they have, like Zac and Caitlyn. Even Kled, to some degree, is a champion that scales very well. They're looking to scale up and try and take over the game through late game team fighting.
Okay. So how is this mid matchup going to work? I see the cleanse on Karma, but is that worth it against the only real hard CC going to be happening in mid lane that's cleansable being the Ahri Charm? Or is it more for late game?
So the interesting thing about Cleanse is it can actually be used to cleanse Ignite. Ignite is a summoner spell. Critically, Cleanse gets rid of not just all CCs on you, but all summoner spells, which includes Exhaust and Ignite. So if properly used, this Cleanse can actually completely negate the Ignite from the Ahri. Well, not completely. You'll always take the first tick of Ignite, but you can mostly negate the Ignite while also being very useful late game against things like, Ahri's Charm.
1 second. It looks
Binding.
like D-Just is going to almost go down here. Has to flash away from the Kled. That was a great level 1 from both of them. Well, more from Kid Clarkin, obviously. But continue about your point on Cleanse, because I feel it's going to be very important coming up.
Yeah, well, so there's not much else to say besides Ignite is a summoner spell, and you cleanse off all summoner spells, not just ones that give CC. But this Kled matchup into the Maokai is extremely strong.
We're seeing that now.
Yeah, you're seeing that now. How the Kled, 9 CS.
Oh
to
god,
2.
Nami just ate a beautiful binding from Lil Rabbit, and she finally goes down to a bunch of poke damage. This is a little bit of the early game from the Caitlyn and Morgana coming up, as Kid Clarkin does get ganked by Sabin and
Good hits.
But he makes it out.
A nice flash into Pocket Pistol gets him out, but that is the flash down. So he is potentially ripe for a return gank from the Elise at some point. So yeah, lots of action already.
But it looks like the blue side is leading in this early game, just by not only CS but by amount of kills.
Yeah, one big thing though is, Kid Clarkin is overstaying in this lane. If Elise were to make a return, he's backing off now. But this was potentially a little bit of an overstay. If Sabin had come back around, he could have gone down there.
Right. So is there? I know it's very... Oh, Habibi eating another binding from Lil Rabbit, who has just magnetic accuracy. It's a close one.
Yeah, that was very close. Very, very close trade here. Blue side has built up a big bottom lane here for Kaya and Lil Rabbit. Binding just going wide.
Lil Rabbit has just some crazy accuracy so far. Neko Waifu and Sol Invictus just trading blows pretty evenly. Now,
right, let's see how much of the CS we can get.
One question I have about the mid lane matchup is Ahri's inherent sustain from her passive negligible in this matchup because of the Karma shielding, or does it win out over the shielding in the end, or what's your opinion on that?
as many things are in this game, it's somewhat subjective. Karma's early laning into Ahri is very strong, and in general, Ahri's sustain is not going to be enough to overcome. Oh, as a binding hits here,
Yep.
doesn't look like anything's going to come of it. But yeah, the early Karma trading is very strong into Ahri, and the sustain is usually not going to be enough to overcome those early shields. As the laning phase gets further on, and if the laning phase ends up being an extended lane where it goes past 15 minutes, the Ahri sustain will eventually start to overcome the shields. But
a gank in from Quarkles misses the slingshot, gets the bind onto Quarkles from Neko Waifu.
Sabin's here.
Sabin flashing in with the cocoon, almost going down on Sol Invictus. Might die here. Quarkles eating a Q from Karma.
The ignite. Ooh.
No cleanse on the ignite, interestingly.
Didn't need it.
She is going to make it out, but Sol Invictus not so lucky.
Yeah. Sol Invictus going down there, unfortunately billing both summoners. Very unfortunate for him. He's going to have a very hard time in this lane matchup now.
Oh, Kedar getting gone on by Ahri.
Yeah.
So what is the problem, do you think, from what you've seen in this bottom lane for the red side? Because they're at a slight disadvantage. They're down a kill, and they're down 4 CS, which isn't very severe at this level yet. But clearly something isn't going quite right.
I think this all stems from the level 1, quite recall what levels they were, binding that hit onto KDRG, and just they got a free kill out of it, where KDRG didn't use any summoners. Habibi didn't use the heal to save, and they ended up just losing out. And then suddenly there's no Nami there, and Habibi gets pushed back out because he has no pressure from having a support in lane, and then they just have a disadvantage. Even though I do think that in theory this 2v2 should go to Varus Nami. If one of you ends up getting picked off early in the laning phase, it's not going to be in your favor anymore.
Right. So is this too early for Elise to be thinking about a dragon? Because she is one of the better dragon takers in the game right now, but there's not much pressure for her bot lane.
So the big thing with this, as Kled's going in for trade, and we're seeing a bot lane trade.
A bot lane trade as well. KDR is going to go down almost, but flashes out while Kid Clarkin is going on D-Just. D-Just almost going down, but pops the Kled passive, and it looks like there's no deaths in that entire engage.
Deaths. Very surprising. Lots of fighting going on all over the map. We're seeing Sabin waiting for the Kid Clarkin to walk up here. I don't know if they're going to be able to get this, but it'll be close.
Advance. And Kid Clarkin is going to go down here. There's no doubt about it.
Yep. Straight down to the Elise. So going back to the... Oh, never mind. Got a trade going on in mid lane.
Sol Invictus winning the trade quite handily.
Yep, Sol Invictus going quite low here. Still no summoners back up, and not close to getting either of them. We're looking at Sabin and D-Just1 looking to try and take first Tower Blood. I don't think they're going to be able to get it on this wave, but if they wait for the next wave, maybe so.
We'll have to see about that. Sabin just stubbornly sticking it out. Doesn't really
Sabin's
necessarily need to
the
back either. I've seen a few Elises stick on just Moby Boots and maybe Red Smite for a while because her early game damage is just so impactful without items that all she really needs is the mobility to get around the map.
Yeah, so going back to what you were talking about earlier about the Elise potentially soloing Dragon, typically speaking, when you see an Elise go...
Sol Invictus is getting bound up. And a brilliant Mantra Q from Karma.
Had Quarkles coming in on the backside, but he's not able to pick anything up. So, yeah, typically, going back to the Elise, the Mobies, typically when you go see the Elise Mobies, they're not looking to do, super combat intensive things like trying to solo Dragon. They're looking to get lots of pressure down on the map.
Right.
Quarkle's going back in.
Quarkles is probably going to get killed here by Neko Waifu. I know his base damages are pretty high, but it's not enough. KDR going to go down to the, I believe it was an EQ combo.
Oh, the Zac passive getting TP'd on by Kid Clarkin.
Quarkle should get out of this, and it was canceled. That was a pretty good play,
TP
actually.
Canceled, yeah. Saved him with the TP, and then was able to get the cooldown refund by canceling it. Pretty nice by Kid Clarkin there.
So now that Kid Clarkin is level 6, what should he be doing in this lane? Should he be shoving up and roaming as much as possible until he blows his ult, or just keeping pressure on the Maokai while he can still out-trade?
So one of the big issues with Kled in this kind of situation is when your mid laner loses pressure
short engage
really
going
badly.
Down here. Kid Clarkin almost losing passive, but not quite.
Yeah, still got his health back up. But yeah, when your mid laner's losing a lot of pressure like this, that loses a lot of your roam potential from your Kled ultimate, which is kind of unfortunate. There is potentially an opportunity that he could go bottom at some point after a base and then maybe ult through the lane. But for the most part, his sort of easy roams on mid, as he's going in here, his easy roams on mid is really negated by the losing mid matchup.
This is quite the interesting top lane. They're constantly fighting.
Yeah, Maokai is out of mana now.
Is this the way this matchup you'd expect it to go, or would you expect a little less fighting and more farming? What's the usual interplay between someone who's tanky and with a weaker early game like Maokai and someone like Kled?
So typically what you expect is that whenever Kled's W, his violent tendencies, comes up, he's going to be looking to pressure the Maokai off the CS or get a good trade if he doesn't get back off and give up. Whenever the W is down, that's when the Maokai is looking to trade. So there's sort of a back and forth, having to do mostly with Kled's W cooldown. As we're seeing an interesting prompt take from the bottom lane over here. It's interesting.
Now, is that necessary, or should they have just backed at this point? Oh, wait a minute. I know why they did it. Habibi was just a little shy of a BF sword, so they figured that the Gromp gold would be enough to get it for him.
Yeah, they wanted safe gold. Oh, we're looking at a
Kid
dive
Karkin
up in the
is
top
almost
lane.
gonna go
Kid
down
Karkin
here,
gets his Kled back.
Yep, passive coming up just in time, but Saban's going to try and go in, but unfortunately the invulnerability from the Kled passive sort of prevents any kills from coming down. A charm onto Neko Waifu, but it doesn't look like it's going to end in anyone's death. But the first tower does go down for the red team. Team Infamous, good showing in the early game.
Kid Karkin manages to survive the dive, although his turret going down still pretty bad. Still low. Lost Scarl twice in that entire engagement, but yeah, surviving. Surviving is nice. That's for sure.
Yeah,
it could have been
definitely
worse.
a plus. So for itemization in the top lane, now what the build used to be, and I haven't kept up with Maokai builds for a while because he's been out of meta for so long. Oh, hold on a second. KDR is going in, trying to stop this dragon.
Nice Nami wave.
Three-man tidal wave. Pretty good. Neko
No
Waifu trying to stop Quarkles, but is actually going to get caught out and killed instead. Does
The
blow
cleanse,
both
the flash,
and
but
cleanse.
Yeah, no surviving. Unfortunate.
That's terrible. But with newer Maokai builds, why do we not see the mana sustain as much? Or do we usually, and this is a strange adaptation?
So this is an exception. Against the Kled, I assume he's wanting the early Fire Cape, but typically speaking, modern Maokai builds will usually involve a Doran's Ring or two into a build like this where you get Sunfire. But we're seeing a lot of engage over here and the Dragon take at the same time.
Yep, Dragon's getting fairly low. It's down to sub 1,000 health as of now. And, oh, a brilliant steal from Saban, but his team is getting killed on the backside. D-Just almost going down there. Quarko's getting the Courage of the Colossus, ulting onto KDR, trying to flash after the flashing Nami, but not quite going to get it. Now, is Sol Invictus? A flash charm barely misses because of the minions.
Yeah, Sol Invictus flashing over that Nami bubble there. Quite nice. But didn't end up hitting the charm, so unfortunately it was for nothing. Could have just taken the bubble.
Very stylish for nothing, though.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's one Infernal Drake for Team Infamous.
One Infernal for Team Infamous. Very nice.
That plus the first Tower Blood. They're actually shaping up to have recovered almost this early game, haven't they?
Yeah, they're only down about 800 gold at this point. Just a little bit shy of 1,000 gold down, which is not too bad, especially when you consider, you've still got your strong tank top laner, and the disadvantage is mostly on their Varus and particularly the Nami, who don't need a ton of gold to be effective. So they're not really in that bad of a spot. Unfortunately, though, I do think they get outscaled a bit in with these team comps. So they're going to need more than just this to be able to come back in this game. Although by no means are they out of it.
Right. I do have a question about the Varus build here, because the Caitlyn's going the very standard BF sword into Runin's Hurricane build, which the BF sword will probably turn into an Eye Edge later. But earlier today we saw, oh god, I'm embarrassed to not remember what team. Hold on, Quarkle's getting gone in on by Saban. Probably going to pop the passive. And he's going to die here. Hopefully, TP coming in, Sol Invictus as well. This is going to turn into a 3v2 very quickly. Quarkles is very low. but does go down to the Q from Karma, and Saban also going down to the Ignite combo from Sol Invictus. Clarkin might be going down here, just popped the Scarl passive. Neko Waifu on the backside trying to get a Q in from the side. D-Just is out of mana though, so they can't continue this fight. That was a very frantic fight.
A lot blown there just to try and save Quarkles, and he ends up going down anyway. Kid Clarkin going for the TP on the blob to save the
hold on, man. Habibi Poppy getting bound up, but Ari Kya eating both the Varus ult and the Nami bubble. Habibi very low here. KDR
tanks the binding.
Better than the
nice
alternative.
Nice play by KDR there. Nice disengage to save Habibi there. Very close to him going down.
So, anyways, back to the itemization, because this is a question that I think is fairly important, just for the nuance of it. Why do we see Habibi here going for the Essence Reaver? Earlier today, I saw Varus in LCS. I forget which matchup, but going Eye-Edge first into Runin, so a sort of standard AD carry build, whereas before I had seen a lot of the Essence Reaver.
Well, one thing is you have to notice he has a Caulfield's Warhammer here, not pickaxe, so it could really be either one. Or wait, no, never mind. Forget everything I said.
Continue.
So, I mean, it's possible it's still an IE. I think it's much more likely. But the Essence Reaver is the more typical build. The IE build is... Oh, as we're seeing a Kled ultimate come in. Is it going to hit? Nope, just
barely misses.
Gets a couple shots in on the turret and backs off. So, yeah, we're looking at a Zac coming in here on the bottom lane as well. Is he going to go for it? He is.
Maokai's here for the counter gank, though. Tower does go down, so there's no way for them to sort of turn this. It's a straight 3v3, but looks like all 5 are down on bot side for blue team. So we'll see if this turns into something more.
Tower still does go down, though, so that is advantage over there, and they secure the Scuttle Crab as well. So getting quite ahead.
But gold lead is surprisingly even, though. Or barely. 400 lead for Timberlands.
Yeah, gold quite close. Do have the one Infernal. Keep that in mind, especially as the game gets further on and people start stacking up some offensive stats. So we're seeing pretty normal swap here of AD carry to the top lane. You know, typically speaking, when you take the bottom lane tower as a high tower damage AD carry like Caitlyn, someone who's fairly safe at taking turrets, you just swap them up to the top lane and try and take the top outer as well. That said, there is potential counterplay here, especially as the top lane turret there is not up. So it would be very easy for them to go pick off Arikaya in the long lane if he does stray up too far.
It was looking like Team Infamous wasn't quite sure what to do, doing something that I've seen a lot of my solo queue games devolve into, which is straight up A-ramming in the mid lane.
Yeah,
they have split off to a sort of 2-2-1.
Yeah, they swap up to the top lane to try and defend their top outer, which makes some sense. They swap D-Just1 to the bottom lane, where he can fairly safely lane even in the long. Kid Clarkin missing the bear trap on a rope there, and the binding going wide as well.
Neko Waifu's Qs are just very, very painful at this point. Kid Clarkin almost losing the Scarl passive.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to... Oh,
actually loses it. Down. Nice.
Yeah. Neko Waifu definitely bringing up some serious damage here in the mid lane, even on the Karma. And, when I say low damage composition and talking about the Karma being low damage, I'm talking about in the mid to late game.
Looks like Sol Invictus going into Neko Waifu. Misses the charm, though, so has to ult out.
Ooh.
Some spicy play coming out here. D-Just getting gone on by Quarkles. Looks like he doesn't really have much to get out, but he's just going to walk it out.
Yeah, this is interesting. We've got the trap set up from Caitlyn in the mid lane as well. Something you typically expect to see when Caitlyn is sieging mid, not so much of a defensive setup as this one. So going back to the Karma, when I say late game, or when I say Karma's damage is low, at this point in the game it's still quite high. It just tends to fall off as the game goes later and later. But if he can maintain a huge gold lead like this,
eating the Thunderlords and a tower shot, nearly dies there, but Neko Waifu almost gets low rabbit just with the Mantra Q.
Yeah. Low rabbit almost going down to that Mantra Q, but I believe the Black Shield plus getting out of the range of the second half of the Q, letting him live there.
And Team Infamous doing exactly what I was about to ask about, actually, is whether they should do this dragon now that it's up.
Yeah, I mean it's free dragon. Free dragon is nice, even if it is air drake, which is arguably the weakest or second weakest of the dragons to get.
Right.
Uh,
I would have liked to see them rotate down bot immediately after that, though.
Yeah, it's possible that they could have pressured that out of turret, but they don't really have the vision to know that so many players on the other team are in base, unfortunately. So they weren't able to know, that no one was there. They probably suspected that at that point there were one or two people coming up the lane already, and so they didn't really want to try and go for a dive on that. But it turned out that they actually weren't there, and they could have gone for the tower. But
They have an interesting line of vision here. I'd kind of like to point out the vision trench, if you will, just past Team Infamous's side of the river. You'll see, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wards in succession and in a straight line. So they can see when anyone's looking to cross the river.
yeah, it's all the jungle entrances warded, which plus the mid lane ward as well. There, Katie Arc and Lil
support.
Rabbit having a supportal combat over here.
Supportal combat! Flashing away
And
from
it's
the
yeah,
Sabin cocoon.
yeah, ends up in Sabin getting the flash off of full.
Yeah. Not quite supportal
Okay.
combat at that point, but
No, dishonorable by Sabin interrupting the supportal combat, but you do what you can to win the game, so that's pretty understandable.
this is completely theoretical, but since there's not much going on, who would win that in a long, drawn-out fight?
Supportal combat, I mean, it's going to depend a lot on the binding hit rate. The binding is a lot of the damage from, since it's the skill you max first on Morgana support. So, but typical fight where not 100% binding hit rate. I'm assuming you got the Nami's going to win out on that one. Nami does a lot of damage and has heals for herself as well. So
Another question.
this TP is going to be interrupted.
Kled TPing does get interrupted, though.
This is going to be a pretty bad trade for Maokai, though. If he hits another bear trap on a rope, Maokai might be in a bit of trouble here.
If he can stop it and stop the Skarl passive, he might have a chance to win, because after that, Kled doesn't really have anything. DJ's running out of mana, though.
Larkin, can he remount? He remounted. He's
oh,
got
he
this.
remounts.
He's got the bear trap on a rope. He's going to get the 1v1.
That's crazy. Oh, and a 4v4 going down bot. Porkal's going in on Sabin, does get the kill. It looks like he might be going down here. Finally
Passive
goes down,
pops.
but pops passive. Sol Invictus and Ari Kya just leaving their teammate to die. That's cold,
And there
guys.
was no TP to save him this time. The other times his passive has popped, Kid Clarkin has been up with his TP available. Oh,
Ooh, Ari Kya surviving with, it looks like, must have been 15 HP.
yeah, very, very, very low HP there from Arikia. But yeah, so it looks like interesting set of things happening. The Kled taking out the Maokai on the top side, but ends up in Quarkle's going down,
on the
losing
Neko waifu.
the flash.
Up, doesn't get out. Bear trap going in.
Maokai TP on the backside. He's going to get collapsed on.
Oh, barely misses the bubble, but doesn't matter because we got the twisted advance. Kid Clarkin is dismounted now. He doesn't really have much left.
Oh,
but
Black
he does
Shield
survive.
saves him from the slows, gets him out here. So nice Black Shield here by Lil Rabbit to get Kid Clarkin out.
Do we still see Zonia's on Morgana support? Oh my god, that was an incredible twisted advance to dodge the
That binding, but no follow up, so no chance of anything. As far as Zonia's on Morg support, it is a possibility, but Redemption is such a strong item that you're going to want to go that on any support it's reasonable to buy it on. You can see it on both supports here because they do both have shields or heals, which get boosted by the Redemption passive. So
I remember the old
pretty
strategy of
understandable
Morgana support was basically get Spell Thieves, buy Zonia's, flash ult, win game.
Yeah, not so much anymore. Redemption offers you a much safer path to sort of some very powerful stats. So, not saying Zonia's is bad, but Redemption is maybe not so much the most balanced item in the game, let's just say.
Well, with the relative strength of support items now, would you even expect a late game Morgana to pick up Zonia's? Or would you expect another item to come out, like maybe a Leandri's or something, especially against someone so tanky like Maokai?
On this kind of composition, I would expect to see a Zonia's from Morgana, but it's not I don't think it's in every game. Going to be some game sitting in the back with trying to buy a lot of CDR and trying to hit lots of black shields and hit lots of bindings from the back line, where that's better than just going for a 3 or 4 man ult. So
Both teams look like they're kind of A-ramming it right now. What should either one of them ideally be doing instead of this? Because I don't think this is ideal for either team.
So Kid Clarkin has to realize that with the completion of his Black Cleaver, plus the fact that Djust has sort of started to transition into building Magic Resist, he has the advantage 1v1 for Djust, even though he's down farm, and he's winning.
Looks like Kid Clarkin going in with his ultimate. He's gonna try and go into Djust, but does get bound up on the backline. Sabin getting taken down almost. KDR almost going down as well. It's just a dirty fight that Blue is winning pretty handily. Kid Clarkin going in on the KDR and Djust taking some damage from the entirety of the remainder of the Timber team. Oh!
Neko with the big Q.
Well, Timberlands, sorry, I spaced.
Oh,
another engage coming in.
Out.
Great ult from Habibi Poppy. Quarkle's going down. Kid Clarkin looking to follow, but Arikia is just getting some free autos off, and she might actually just get the kill here on Neku Waifu. Whew. Ooh, very close. Soul Invictus have ult? Does not.
Close.
So that was a 3 for 3?
I'm actually not sure if someone respawned. Did Sabin go down originally? I'm not.
Sabin
sure if he did. Okay, so yeah, so 3 for 3, but they do end up picking up the turret. I'm surprising they were able even to get that situation in the first place where they got 3 for 0 originally under the turret while tanking it the entire time, and then just a bit of an overstay for the turret itself, and end up losing 3 afterwards. Thanks to some really nice plays by Neko Waifu. Looks like they're going for a third dragon as well. This is an Earth Drake to some really fast Baron takes, which would be really nice for them. A nice way for them to keep up in this game. Gold is quite even now. It's really just the dragons that separate the teams at this point.
Is it going to be a steal? Nope.
No steal.
Sabin safely securing that. Now Team Infinite is here. Should they be playing around Baron at this point? Because they have a fairly okay composition for taking it, right? Because they have Maokai to tank it up, Sabin with the max HP damage on Elise, and then Habibi Poppy with the Varus W, which does % max HP magic damage.
Yeah, and they also do have the shields from Karma. This Maokai would take 0 damage from it. Add on the tank it for free. Yeah, they should be looking to control the Baron area, which is what it looks like they're starting to do. They've got one control ward here. Sabin's taking the Scuttle Crab, and they've got decent but not great vision coverage of this Baron.
Looks like Kid Clarkin might be going for a fight on Djust, but I don't know if he knows that 2 of the other team is behind him. Djust flashing in the wrong direction. I think he should have flashed south there.
Yeah, flashes away from his team. Sabin throwing in the cocoon. Oh, big damage from Neko Waifu again.
Is she even going to drop off at this point? Kid Clarkin coming in with the ultimate, going to go on to Neko Waifu.
Unfortunate.
Oh, Ari Kia getting bubbled out. That was an incredible bubble, but instead Neko Waifu goes down.
Yeah, unfortunate. Had he held onto that cleanse and not wasted it for nothing, might have been able to get away there with the cleanse onto one of the many slows or stuns that he was hit with. So unfortunate there. The Luden's movement speed not quite enough to get him out of range of the Kled ultimate.
Looks like New York Timberlands rotating top. Torkel's trying to go in on Djust, or just zone him at the very least. But it looks like Lol Rabbit and Ari Kia trying to escape from the enemy team.
Yeah, so we've got a 2K about 2,000 gold lead here. Nothing exceptional, and there still is a lot of vision in the Baron area here for New York Timberwolves, and looks like they're just going to all back off and reset with their small lead.
Both teams have pretty decent vision around Baron here. Again, the vision trench did just die down. There was.
Oh, they're just going to go for the start here. Sabin just blowing it up, going with a control ward right into the start, right, catching them at a really bad time.
TP in from Kid Clarkin.
He cancels.
Now, I do have a question about control wards disabling wards. The wards cannot see around them, correct? So was that just a blind TP, or...?
Well, so what happened there was Sabin walked up and cast his W and his Q onto the Baron at the same time he placed his control ward. So you get lingering vision as the control ward gets placed. You actually have to wait about half a second to a second before the vision actually expires. So because Sabin was a little impatient there with starting the Baron, they had perfect knowledge that yes, they did in fact just start the Baron and we need to do something about it. But still, a win for them. They still end up getting the TP, even if it's on a reduced cooldown.
Right.
It is nice. That really does deny a lot of the split pushing ability from this Kled.
Not a whole lot being done right here. Again, the ARAM is hard to break out of for both of these teams, it looks like.
Yeah, I do want to point out, this is a big spike for Kled. He's hit his Black Cleaver plus Titanic Hydra. This is the point where Kled's split
Oh
pushing.
no, they just getting caught out with all 5 of them. That's...
Yeah, some big crits by Arikaya and goes down pretty quickly. But again, Nekowaifu was able to get some good poke damage in, so it's a possibility they're going to have a hard time taking this Baron when, Arikaya and Soul Invictus just get chunked out over and over. Oh, Flash Charm.
Flash Charm, beautiful. And it looks like they do take out Nekowaifu, and Soul Invictus trying to take out KDR, but looks like Habibi Papi coming in on the backside to take her out.
Yeah, big plays there. 3 for 1 in total. Well, de-justed. Really off of that play, it was just a 2 for 1.
Oh, tries to go for the flash, but misses
Trades
the
flashes
charge.
Habibi Papi. So it looks like they're going to be taking an inhibitor here, most likely. D-Justice just spawned, but he's not going to be able to really do much here into 3 members. Looks like they're going for the disengage. Maybe D-Just can do
another
it.
twisted advanced dodge.
Nice bubble.
Down.
Yeah, and that might give them a window to either control or potentially take the Baron here with Arikaya down for quite some time. They have an opportunity here if they want to take it.
Was QSS on cooldown? I don't think it was.
I'm not sure. I didn't see. I suspect it wasn't, but I'm not sure if the QSS really would have saved Arikaya there. QSS, I think, in conjunction with the Flash, probably. Maybe he could have gotten out, but was maybe thinking about being a bit conservative with his summoners. Didn't even decide to blow the QSS, or maybe just didn't expect the damage follow-up.
Right.
From Poppy, who...
God knows I've done that a few too many times in my games.
Yeah, BB Poppy is pretty big here. He's sitting on 2.5 items at this point, so doing some damage, and it looks like they're going to be turning immediately for the top turret instead of going towards Baron, which makes a lot of sense. They don't have very good vision control over the area, and there is a lot of blue vision control there.
Absolutely. Not a whole lot happening as they siege it down. DJ's getting caught out again on the side a little bit.
Yeah, but taking
Sparkle's
almost
going
no
in on
damage.
getting a 4-man ult. Incredible.
Nice
Does
chain
knock
of corruption,
Poppy
but
back.
BB
almost
is going down.
Kid Clarkin gonna go down here. Porkles is
Get the
already in
remount.
passive. Oh, another mount up. That's gonna save him for quite a long time. Oh, and he just lost the damage from it. Does go down to... What did he even die to there?
Not entirely sure, but again, Nekowaifu just putting out insane damage in these. Really, even on the Karma, where this is about the time when his damage is going to start falling off, I'm still able to output some really consistent damage for his team, even when the main damage dealer here, BB Poppy, has already gone down. Went down early in the fight. Nekowaifu picking up the slack and putting out lots of damage. Looks like a Void Staff coming in for him next as well.
Looks like Arika and Soul Invictus going for the dragon here. They do get spotted out by that trinket ward, which has been there forever. But there's not much
they can do. Yeah, they're going to get this for free. A nice Earth Dragon take here. Free Earth Dragon is pretty sweet. Would be pretty bad for them, I think, to have 2 Earth Dragons on the other side. That's 2 Earth Dragons is the point where you start to get into really dangerously fast Baron takes. And that's when, you have one person slightly out of position and Baron is just gone.
Mm-hmm.
So nice for them to deny that in particular. And it also helps them out quite a bit as well.
So we'll see them reset. It looks like the red side is going for Baron right now. Sabin did start it, and D-Just is TPing in. So hopefully they can take it without any interruptions.
Yeah, they have no idea. This is a nice control where they've got Nekowaifu in the mid lane just clearing it out to make them less suspicious, and that's a free Baron.
Yep, went down very quickly now. Looks like Nekowaifu did complete the back. I'm not too sure about that, honestly. Oh, Void Staff purchase. I guess that's...
Yeah, Void Staff plus a large rod. That's a huge spike for him. It's pretty understandable to go back there. Void Staff is a nice, even on a champion where only one of their abilities, or maybe 1.5 or 2, if you count the ultimate. Even on a champion with only a limited number of damaging abilities, Void Staff's still an extremely powerful item. especially when there's a lot of magic resist being built up on the other side. You can see the Spectre's Cowl on Kled, the Spear Visage on Zac. And that's about it right now. There is also an Abyssal Scepter on the Ahri as well, actually. It makes a lot of sense here to get Void.
So we'll see. I think...
Oh! Serious damage there.
Yeah.
Half the health off Lil Rabbit instantly.
I'm not sure why they're backing off here.
Yeah, it seems like they should just be trying to force up a little bit harder. They've got the strong front line from the Maokai, and they have Baron buff, so it doesn't make a ton of sense for them to back off, but they're playing it safe, which I can understand a little bit. They want to make sure that they don't throw away this Baron, the lead that they have.
Right.
They do have an exposed inhibitor, so if they lose a fight badly enough, it could end in them losing an inhibitor very easily.
Looks like Neko Waifu clearing the wave with just the Mantra Q. Should they be splitting off here and trying to push side lanes? Because it looks like the bot side for the blue team is... that's a huge wave right there.
Yeah, so one big thing against Caitlyn is it's very difficult to see just single lane against Caitlyn. She'll just put up her traps, sort of like this, except usually with not just 3. I suspect probably is just holding on to a couple here. But normally you just set up the traps, and it's very difficult for anyone to actually get shots in on the turrets because you step on one of these traps or you step near one of the traps, and that sort of zones you into or onto the trap itself. And so typically what you want to do is you want to just shift between lanes or split push. If you switch between lanes, it forces the Caitlyn to keep replacing her traps, and eventually she'll run out.
Right.
But unfortunately, it seems like they're either not aware or unwilling to risk split pushing or switching lanes frequently. So it looks like they're going to just kind of be wasting this Baron. But the gold is still very close.
For too long.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have this for much longer, although it's very likely that Sabin is running the buff duration mastery, which does affect Baron buff, so that does increase the duration that Sabin can have it at the very least.
Yep,
Most
Sabin,
likely.
Sabin is running that mastery. I just checked. There's about...
Okay.
Oh!
Katie going down, though,
KDR
so
going down.
that does put a really big stopper on a lot of their Baron pushes. It's going to be much more difficult for them to do it 4v5. Corkles can probably get an initiation here if he just starts charging up. Oh, Kid Clarkin going in with the Kled
ultimate. Ultimate. Oh, wow, that followed pretty far, and Habibi Papi's just going to go down here straight up. Neko Waifu almost going down to Ahri Kya.
Yeah, this is going to be an inhibitor for sure. Inhibitor going down to Kid Clarkin and Corkles. They're going to join up the rest of the team here and just take out this inhibitor for free. Fortunately, it is just the mid inhib, which is the least useful inhibitor to take, but still an inhibitor taking down, and that is a big deal. So one thing you can notice here is there's just a lot of magic resist being built up here on the Kled and the Zac, and even the Abyssal Scepter. So like I was saying earlier, lots of magic resist, and that's sort of a symptom of taking comps like these, so not just these low damage comps, but comps in the current meta where you're running 3 to 4 AP champions. AP top laner, AP jungler, AP mid laner, and it's support who does all magic damage as well, and an AD carry who actually does some magic damage and not all physical.
Right.
Magic resist is very efficient here. So it's very, very, very powerful. And Sabin actually going for lots of movement speed here. Deadman's Plate, Mobies, and has a Windrake. So he is quite fast.
It's a speedy spider.
500. Yeah, 511 movement speed out of combat. That is very fast.
Reminds me of the short, glorious time where Quinn Jungle was a consideration. Thanks to I Will Dominate.
Yeah, before they ended up nerfing the cooldown and the duration on her Q. So that you could take almost no damage from jungle camps. Yes.
Yeah, and the beautiful home guards move speed of nearly 1500, getting to the enemy's tier 3 tower with just home guards and ult.
Yep, it was a fun time. But Quinn has been nerfed. Oh, Kled ult initiation.
Kled ult coming in. It's gonna go on to Neko Waifu, who's gonna try and get caught out by
just didn't tank
Victus.
it. Lil Rabbit going down.
Yep, Lil Rabbit going down. Corkles in the backline here. This fight is very split up here. Sol Invictus is almost going to take out D-Just, and D-Just is down, so now the backline is free to sort of move back up into this northern part of the fight.
Yeah,
I don't
D-Just
know
bought
if
a lot of time, though.
Yeah, I don't know if they can save
There's
Corkles.
another
They can
TP
with
coming in from Kid Clarkin.
Neko Waifu almost certainly going to go down here to Kid Clarkin.
Ooh.
So
that was rough when you
2
see
for
someone
2.
get taken
Yep,
out by Kled like that. Yep, 2 for 1. So unfortunate. I really thought after DJ bought all that time, maybe they'd be able to pull it off, but ends up unfortunately not working out quite that well.
Now, can they take this? Yeah, they can definitely take this. I was I was expecting it to do a lot more.
No, they also have the redemption coming in for the strong heal, Kid Clarkin and Quarkles, and
Yep.
that's a free Elder Dragon. It is worth noting with only one dragon, just an Earth Dragon on their side, the Elder Dragon is not such a huge deal. It's theoretically possible for them to lose a team fight with the one Dragon Elder Drag.
Right.
Once you get into 2 to 3 dragons, that's when the team fight, the dragon buff starts to become insurmountable.
Do you think they can win off this next push since they have the inhib down still in mid, or should they just try to refresh the inhibitor? Because I think it's coming up soon. No, it's about.
I think
half
what they should be
duration.
doing. What they should be doing with this dragon buff is they should be trying to take the top and bottom outer turrets, or well, inner turrets. There's sort of standing gold on the map that they could just be getting. They're already up about 3k gold, but that's really not much at this point in the game. They want a bigger lead than this once their buff, their dragon buff runs out, so that they can more easily steamroll these team fights. Even though they are the better team fighting composition and they have a very small gold lead, it's still better to just get a free gold lead if you can. And these outer turrets aren't going to be that difficult for them to take with the dragon buff on.
KDR getting charmed up by Sol Invictus. Probably going to go down here. Pops the Iron Solari, but it looks like Kid Clarkin is ulting in onto Djus. Djus does get charmed.
Tower. Whoa.
Whoa. This is quite the fight here.
Snaps.
Lots of people going low, but no one actually dying.
Yep, no one going down, and this is one turret down. Oh, Kid Clarkin.
Ooh, Kid Clarkin, very low.
Very
Black
low.
shield just enough.
Yeah, I think that Black Shield just barely saved him from that Luden Neko Waifu. Arikaya doing some serious damage here. Almost 6 items at this point. 320 CS, 6 kills. Very, very, very strong Caitlyn here.
It looks like Red Team is trying to check on this Baron.
Yeah, they don't want him to give up a free Baron here, which makes a lot of sense. Honestly, with that Elder Dragon, that wasn't that bad. For the red team, it ended up being not great, but not the worst. They didn't even end up getting an inhibitor. They didn't retake mid inhibitor, which obviously isn't back up yet, so they couldn't do that with the Elder. But they didn't get the bottom outer, and they didn't break another inhibitor turret. So really, that was a best case scenario for them. Losing one outer turret, not bad at all. Nice hold from them.
MYT looking to try and bait the Baron here, but I don't think it's going to happen for them, especially because of all the vision for the red team.
Yeah, I think they have decent enough vision that it's going to be difficult to face check. And they do have a ward directly in the pit. They know this is being taken.
Trying to rush it down, but...
Yeah, it's low. It's already less than half HP. It's 3k.
Might go down. Saving trying for the Miracle Steal. Not going to get it. Saving going to go down, and that might... That's probably an inhib at the very least.
Yeah, at the very least. It might actually
Sol Invictus might go down, though. That's dangerous for them.
Sol Invictus going down. That's huge.
Oh, Kid Clarkin is about to go down, too, and Lol Rabbit's very low on the backside.
A double kill for Habibi Poppy, and they actually are going to end up winning out on this Baron trade. That's really big for them.
Arikia was in base.
Yeah, hard overcommit. Arikia must have, I guess, based after they took the Baron?
I guess. Not quite the right call. Especially because she was 90% of their damage, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I think going for this mid push is a little bit aggressive, unfortunately. I think they're going to be able to pull this off against Baron minions, plus... 3 defenders, and it's only 4v3. I think they can, sort of alleviate some pressure by pushing up here, but I don't think they're going to be able to get anything. They're not going to be able to get any relevant damage
a binding by Lol Rabbit on the Neko Waifu.
Yep, nothing to follow it up, though. I mean, again, they're still 3v4, so anything. Worth noting, Kid Clarkin does have TP up, so as soon as he spawns in 10 seconds, they could be looking potential TP onto them if they keep pushing. Fortunately for them, I think this is a smart play to back off here.
Yeah, there are very few flank wards anyway. The only one KDR is sitting on right now and just killed. So.
Oh, they had one. They had a really deep one up by the Baron pit behind by the red brush. They could have used. Yeah. So unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately or fortunately, depending on fortunately or unfortunately, depending on whose side you're looking at, they do still have 3 Barons here on blue side. So Quarkles with a GA and 3 Barons are able to push up. They're probably going to be able to take this inhibitor. I don't really think that they're going to be able to defend this with just members of the team coming here.
Oh, looks like a tidal wave coming out.
Huge damage from Neko Waifu again.
Quarkles trying to get in with the elastic slingshot, almost goes down.
A really nice chain of corruption there, forcing the QSS. Djus maybe go down here. Nope.
This might be game.
No, they're not going to try and push for game here. I think
nope, they're not going to push for it.
No, Quarkles is too low. Their front line is too weak to stand up to Habibi Poppy here, who's putting out pretty insane damage. Full 6 items. Hasn't replaced his boots if he wants to, but Aside from that, five full AD carry items. This guy's putting out some serious damage.
So what are the merits of replacing boots in a competitive match? Like, what do you replace them with nowadays? Now that Zephyr is no longer in the game, and is it worth it over losing the boots?
So in this case, for Habibi Poppy, I think it's pretty reasonable for him to replace his boots with another crit item. For Arikia, it's a little bit less, for sure a good thing, because if he buys another crit item, which I think you do want to buy another Zeal item because those give you movement speed to help make up for the lack of movement speed from your boots, would actually be overcapped on crit. It actually, another crit item would give him 30% more crit, which would put him at 110%. So sort of wasting some of the stats. And I think at this point, especially against champions like Varus and Nami, who have a lot of relevant skill shots, you really want the the flat movement speed to be able to dodge out from those. Whereas Habibi Poppy is not really looking as much to dodge a skill shot. Really, the only thing that matters is the really slow-moving binding from Lil Rabbit, which you can probably dodge without boots, and potentially a charm, which he has a Mercurial Scimitar, so maybe he can just say, I'll sell my boots. If I get hit by the charm, I'll just Mercurial Scimitar it, or a binding or something like that.
I mean, whereas on top of that, charm is a very quick-moving skill shot in the first place. So
yeah, so I don't know. It's really, I'm not 100% sold on whether they should be swapping out their boots or not. But so far, it doesn't seem like either one is interested in doing so.
Interestingly, I don't think either one has a. Nope, no. Habibi does have an Elixir of Wrath.
Yeah, he's running a red pot here.
Pick it up. Yep, just picked it up.
Yep, no swap on the boots though, and no swap on any of the items. I do think Arikia, pretty much maxed out build here. Makes a lot of sense. This 6-item set is pretty much the maximum damage you can get on Caitlyn while you still have boots, and also a Merc Scimitar for a defensive item.
Right.
Habibi, if he really wants to get maximum damage, is going to have to sell one of his items for an Infinity Edge. One of the reasons why it does seem like they have a little bit less damage overall. First of all, their champions just generally do less damage. And also, Habibi here just doesn't have an Infinity Edge, the main damage multiplier for AD carries. So his damage is just a bit lower in general, even despite the champion.
We'll have to see this push on top lane.
Yep, we'll see if this works out for them. Phil has his GA up, so pretty strong there. Arikia getting instantly blasted for almost 2/3 of his health. So Neko Waifu still putting out pretty big damage here. Almost 6 items.
No kidding.
Right now, actually. Yeah.
It looks like they're going to have to defend the mid push. They could use this opportunity to push top further, but it doesn't look like they're going to. I think Timberlands should take advantage of the fact that Team Infamous did have to defend their base there, but there's not.
Yeah, unfortunately, the wave wasn't quite in the right spot for them. They could have set that up better if they were thinking ahead, but without the proper foresight there. As Kid Clark goes in,
going into D-Just, but I don't think.
Yeah, he's not going to try and take that. This Maokai is very tanky at this point. Pretty hard to take him out, alone as a Kled at this point in the game.
Wet noodle fights all over again.
Well, Kled doesn't exactly have a wet noodle fight going on. He does do damage. It's just he needs a bit more space to take out a tank like Maokai. He needs to be able to stack his
he's going in again, but he doesn't see the rest of the team there. Kid Clark might go down here. Still has Scarl up for the moment. Porkle's going in to try and defend his top laner. And everyone's going to back off.
Yep. So Kid Clarkin still pretty low. He has no real sustain aside from an extra bit of regen from his Spear Visage here. A missed bubble, but that's sort of a free one. Not going to lose anything for missing that.
And at this point, what is each team waiting for to try and win this game? Obviously, Team Infamous is waiting for their inhib to come back up.
So they can wait for their inhib to come back up. On the other side, we're looking at potentially, if someone steps too far out of position, it'll have to be pretty far out. They could get a Kled ultimate, but I think a more likely thing to look for is potentially a Morgana Binding or an RE Charm, especially a Flash RE Charm onto Neko Waifu, Habibi, KDR, Sabin, basically anyone that's not D-Just, who is pretty difficult to kill. Anyone besides D-Just could potentially die to one of those, skill shot CCs hitting them into the other skill shot CC. Oh, KDR just barely not getting hit by the binding. That would have been KDR going down there had the binding been tanked. So, a nice dodge.
Looks like Kid Clarkin's coming in for a flank, but not going to use his ultimate just yet. Are they starting the Baron? They are starting the Baron. Sol Invictus did use Charm on the Baron, though. I'm not sure I approve of that decision. I guess it'll come back off cooldown, but D-Just going into 1v5. Kid Clarkin on the back line trying to hold back D-Just's back line, which is actually a pretty smart move. Sabin just came out of repel.
Arikia's very low.
Just went down. Naku Waifu very low on the back line. Kid Clarkin about to remount. If he can just get this last auto, he should be back up. And he is back into the fight with about 75% effective HP.
Snipe.
Yeah, Habibi Poppy does snipe out Lol Rabbit on the backside.
Oh,
Corky's
going down,
getting
barely
GA
not able to get the damage. Arika and Sol Invictus going very, very, very low, but not quite dead. They're going to be able to refresh this inhibitor.
All right. Looks like we're going into pick ban here. Let me change to champ select. And here we are. Welcome back, everyone.
And we're seeing some of the same bans we saw last game. Actually, all three of these champions were banned last game as well. So nothing surprising there.
So the teams, something about last game, we mixed up the names the entire time, or at least I did. I don't know. Maybe accidentally one of us got them right at some point, but we mostly mixed them up. So Team Infamous is the team with Sol Invictus, Quarkles, Kid Clarkin, Arikia, and Lol Rabbit. And the New York Timberlands is Djust, Sabin, Neko Waifu, Habibi Poppy, and Katie Arg. Alright, about this Karma ban. They are not happy about how that worked out for them last game.
Yeah, the karma was quite strong for Team Infamous last game, and it was strong for New York Timberlands last game, and Neko Waifu played it really well, got a lot of damage out. Oh, and the Maokai ban as well, interesting. So some adaptations coming out here.
Why would they ban their own pick?
Well, see, Djust is the big Poppy player, so the Poppy ban against him makes sense, and maybe he's expecting to, like, maybe he's looking for some other particular matchup. The Maokai I didn't think was super effective for him. I mean, it didn't feel like he was doing anything particularly effective. So maybe he says, all right, I don't really want to play against this, but I definitely don't want to play it. So we'll just ban it out, and then I'll pick something that has a bad matchup into Maokai, maybe. Something like that, some other tank that doesn't really lane as well into Maokai is a strong possibility.
I'm wondering, I know this is one of those, this is a higher elo counter, but I'm wondering if they could have just left the Poppy and Maokai open and picked Singe.
I actually just played that. I played Singe into Poppy not 2 hours ago, actually, and won the game. So
well, there we go. 100% proof.
100% proof. Worked every time. But the Trundle pick makes some sense. The interesting thing is, we did see a Kled pick last game from Kid Clarkin, which it looks like their ordering is a little messed up since Kid Clarkin is shifted to mid lane, unless they're planning on swapping everyone around, which I don't think they're doing. But Kid Clarkin last game picked Kled, and Kled's matchup into Trundle is fine, if not super excellent. Trundle is normally something you take as a counter pick into a tank, and so it's kind of weird that they would ban out a bunch of tanks. In particular, they banned out Maokai and then pick the Trundle. So I'm wondering where they're going with this, but maybe he just feels really good about the Trundle into Kled matchup. So we'll see.
I had the exact same qualms you did, because I know that from my experience, from my long storied experience as a solo queue support player, it's a great counter pick, terrible first pick. Maybe they're trying to bait out a favorable or unfavorable matchup for Trundle that's countered by another top pick they have, and they're going to run Trundle as a support.
Yeah, that is a possibility for sure. And we see the Zach Morgan Team Infamous here, and not too surprising. They're both still up. They were both pretty effective last game, so not a huge surprise. Neko Waifu going with the Syndra this game, which was banned last game. So it's available now, and we're going to be able to see if he's, or we're going to be seeing if he's able to do some impressive stuff, get some one-shots down. So far, there's not really any champions that are easy to one-shot. I mean, Morg to some extent will be as a support, but the Black Shield does give a bit of extra effective HP against the Syndra ult. Right. So generally, when you take Syndra, you want to make sure that the enemy team has at least 2 or 3 people you can walk around and kill with QR. So that's when she's really effective. The Jhin as well, another utility carry for Habibi Poppy, but this one a bit more long-range damage and a little bit less hard CC.
I don't know how comfortable I am with that Lux being locked in, honestly. Doesn't she just get stomped by Syndra?
Yes, this is a pretty bad matchup, so it's a strong possibility. Sol Invictus just doesn't play anything that's good into the Syndra, and they respect Bandit game 1 and maybe either forgot about it or thought maybe he would pick it game 2. I'm not sure. I didn't actually see any Syndra. No, I do recall Neko Waifu recently picked up a couple games on Syndra, so that's probably why they banned it the first game. Maybe they thought, oh, he's probably not going to pick it with just a couple recent solo queue games on it, but he did pick it. So this Lux matchup is not good, and it's a little worrying for Sol Invictus since he did lose lane pretty hard last game as well. So we'll have to see if he can do better this time. And another utility carry on the Jhin versus Ashe, a matchup that has been seen many times in all sorts of different professional leagues, LCK, LPL, LCS, EU, and NA. This matchup has been seen many times, so nothing too exciting there.
On the bright side, it looks like the Trundle was exactly what Oh, maybe they're trying to flex both of them and then see
Yeah.
which one gets the more favorable matchup.
So this could be this is a potential double flex between the Trundle, and both can go support or top lane. So it's a kind of an interesting strategy, and it's entirely possible that they only have one way they can play it. But even if they can only play it one way or the other, there's no way for Team Infamous to really know which way they want to play. Whether Trundle is supposed to be a support or whether it's supposed to be Nautilus on the support role. And obviously the other way in the top lane. There's no guarantee that Team Infamous has any idea which way it's going to go. So they're going to have to take a top lane matchup, not knowing, even though they're red side, they're not getting top lane counterpick necessarily. So that's nice. Particularly nice for the Timberlands here.
The Elise coming out again. I'm not too surprised. Saban did pretty well on that last time.
Okay, the Scion coming in here, which is interesting because Scion does have a pretty bad matchup into Trundle. The matchup into Nautilus is totally fine, of course, but I wouldn't have expected that you would take a matchup that's bad into one of the potentials and then just okay into the other. I feel like it's probably better to take a matchup that's at least good into one of them. Most likely the Trundle. I think it's much more likely the Trundle is going to be your top laner, but so. Either way, he feels comfortable on the Scion, or maybe he has a limited champion pool. It's hard to say which way it is.
All right, well, as the game loads in, we'll take another quick recess, and then when we get back, we'll have some more discussions about team comps and how we expect the game to go. So we'll see you in a few.
Namida 星に瞬きを伝えて守るものがあるからきっと強くなれる語るべき言葉なくした星の守りでは時の果て夢の果て闇に立ちすくんだ風を呼んでみたんだ空に向けて誰かを呼んでみたんだ光求めたソリチュードかすかなレゾナンス確かに届くロマンスそんな流れ星たちを抱き留めた明日が見えなくだって乗り越えなくちゃって奇跡の奇跡描き未来へつなぐ Growing High 心のフォトンが銀河にこぼれて道を強く照らす Burning Bright それぞれの思い秘めた星の守り手は空からの呼ぶ声に導かれた重ねる手と手には言葉なんかより伝わることがある熱い心通じ合った確かなレゾナンス見つけるのはエッセンス目指した意識の先がディスティネーション答えが見えなくてくじけそうになって支え合い誓い合う絆でつなぐシャイニーライト心のフォトンが銀河に溢れて道を開く鍵は My Starlight Heart明日が見えなくだって乗り越えなくちゃって奇跡の奇跡描き未来へつなぐ Growing High 心のフォトンが銀河に溢れて道が開いたら羽ばたいて行こうよ乗り越えて行こうよ星空と溶け合っていつまでも行ける Fly High まっすぐ願いを世界に歌
しさもここからまた始めよう My heart shines endlessly 飛び立て
Alright, everybody. Welcome back to the Learning Fives Week 1 show match between Team Infamous and the New York Timberlands. I'm Niberia, and I am once again joined by my partner.
End step or mid step in Twitch chat, if you're looking for me.
Any duration of step, really. We had a great game 1, a little drawn out, which is okay. They're still learning how to close out games, and it's a really important sort of nuanced aspect. We're seeing a different level 1 this time. We're seeing the Timberlands trying to go for a level 1 invade as a 5-man stack.
Get nailed by a binding, though, on Sabin, and they're just going to go for a vision now, it looks like, since they're spotted out, and they know there's no chance they're getting a kill here.
Looks like they might be trying to fight it. Nope. No.
Nope, backing out.
Absolutely not. Good. That would have been a mistake.
Yes, so, yeah, nothing too exciting. Whether he's starting red, which right now looks like he's starting blue. But, whether they do anything with that vision or not, it will be, up for some contention in a couple of minutes. Since knowing that Zach's starting bottom side does give you some potential routes of advantage on Sabin. For instance, Sabin could be starting topside here and planning on going in and stealing away the red buff from Quarkles, but doesn't look like he's going to be doing that. He's just going to be starting bottom side, matching the jungle start from Quarkles.
Right, that would be incredibly dangerous as well, just in case Kid Clarkin decided to check the red. Or, I don't know, is this still possible? Do you remember the level 1 Scion red cheese?
Oh yeah, you can still do that. It's just very dangerous. Obviously, it's very risky to go for that. Unfortunately, DJ's getting a lot of work done here with his grasp.
Yeah. Do you still get level 2 off it though? Without machete?
If you don't have a jungle item, you will not 2 off camp. So, yeah, the early Scion, dying to a jungle camp cheese. Isn't super strong. There are a couple of high elo Scion like one tricks that one in particular I know of that I've played against a few times that I know does still like to do the cheese, but typically he'll try and do it near one of the enemy jungle, like where the enemy jungler is starting, and
Right.
he'll try to kill them with his passive.
I've seen many a YouTube video that started that way, so
Yeah, there is a player in high elo that does try to do that most games. He doesn't do it every game, but most games I've played with him, and he has done it.
Habibi
Or
and
tried to
KDR
do it.
getting some good poke down here.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ari
Really
Kia
big
getting
hit.
real low. But KDR does eat a binding. So it's about an even trade.
Oh, ganking mid.
Yep. Doesn't look like it's resulting in anything.
No, it looks fairly unsuccessful.
The one advantage, I don't know, is it... So, I'm not quite sure on the answer, and that's the reason I'm asking this. Is it better for Ari Kia to be poked out or Lol Rabbit? Oh, in the meantime, Sabin trying to go for a kill on Quarkles. Red buff
Probably gonna pop
helping
the passive
Sabin out
here.
here.
Will Kid Clarkin TP to this to save it? Yes, he will.
Yep. TP's coming out. And that was a good invade. Just in
Yeah,
general.
burns the TP and burns the flash from, Kid Clarkin, it looks like he flashed earlier in lane against D-Just. Quarkle's having to flash. Sabin saving his. Yeah, very good play there by Sabin, getting a nice early invade in.
He does get the red buff as well.
Oh, did he? Yeah, I didn't even notice
Yeah,
that
he
got the buff.
smited it out afterwards. I only caught it because I was trying to catch it on his character model.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, really, really strong invade there by Sabin. Really nice play. Gonna set Quarkles behind quite a bit if he loses out on the experience from that buff. And he's gonna have to play very, very safe now with no flash, no passive on Zach. That's exactly what you don't
KDR
want to have
barely
happen.
missing.
Yeah, just a small miss there. Lil Rabbit's out of mana here though, so there's not going to be much more threat from the Morgana. Just 1 or 2 more binds left in her.
Magnetic bindings are infinitely less effective if you don't have mana to cast them.
Yep. So going back to the question about the health trade, it's generally better for the support to lose the health because the support does come to lane with 3 potions as opposed to 1. Even though the AD carry does have warlords, it's more instant sustain to get damage onto the support with the potions.
Something I'd like to point out, Sabin just stole Raptors.
Oh, did he? Oh,
yeah,
very nice.
From right under Corkel's nose. He didn't take all of them, though. It looks like Sabin's coming up for the gank onto Clarkin.
Clarkin's
doesn't have
flash.
any mana.
He's dead.
That's a dead Clarkin. Passive.
First blood for the
shouldn't get any kills here.
No, he's going to get red buffed and slowed down. So D-Just has a really sizable lead here now. He's only up 2 CS, but he's going to get to push this wave into turret. And because Kid Clarkin blew his TP to save Quarkles, he doesn't have TP to get back to lane. This is going to be huge. It's going to be a really, really big disadvantage in the top lane for Team Infamous, and it's going to be really hard for Kid Clarkin to sort of exist in this top lane from here on out. D-Just is going to have a huge XP lead, and he has the TP advantage, and he has a huge gold lead from First Blood. This is pretty much everything he could ask for, and maybe he can pull off the win in this top lane now.
Neko Waifu going pretty low. This matchup we said was Syndra favored, but is that only post 6, or is it just a constant general trend towards Syndra? Because Syndra does have that high base damage, and Lux is very squishy, but...
So it should be advantageous for most of the laning phase, but fact is, you can see, even though Neko Waifu is taking the bad end of some of these trades, Neko Waifu has substantially more mana than Invictus and has a CS advantage of about 5 right now, which isn't too big, but it is something. So he is sort of winning lane in some sense, but not in terms of health.
Right. It looks like Sabin is going for the same build on Elise, the Moby's first. I do like this, especially with his aggressive style. I think that's a good adaptation to have.
Ooh, another hook miss. But yeah, I think one thing, I don't recall if I touched on this last time, but the Mobies, going straight Mobies on Elise is very dangerous. If you don't get ahead like Sabin did last game, like Sabin ended up getting fairly far ahead with those Mobies. I think he ended up picking up 3 or 4 kills quite fast.
Right.
If you don't end up picking up those kills, the Mobies are very inefficient in terms of combat stats, and they end up you can end up getting punished pretty hard. Ooh, nice trade by D-Just. He's just going to sustain back up. But yeah, the Mobies are a very dangerous pickup for Elise, because if you don't end up snowballing and getting any kills off of them, they're a very bad choice, and you're better off going any other boots.
Oh, looks like Sabin going in on the Quarkles here. Quarkles just losing so much. Hell, Sabin, so much damage.
Yeah, Quarkle is quite low, and this is probably going to be a blue buff given over to Neko Waifu, or maybe even Sabin will take it himself. He's probably going to have to smite it in the face of Sol Invictus here.
Most likely.
KDR
it might be a 3v3 fight. Oh, Sabin just getting popped. Not expecting the Thunderlord's damage.
Yeah, 2 binds, light binding into dark binding, and into a lot of damage.
Oh, Low Rabbit with a flash bind. Misses it, though. Quarkle's going in and getting popped out himself. Oh, Neko Waifu and Habibi Poppy both getting caught by that Lux binding. KDR getting low.
Neko Waifu has his ultimate.
Oh, that was a great 3-man stun.
Oh,
the heal barely saving him. Low Rabbit pretty low here. Habibi Poppy might be able to get him with a 4th shot, but he still has 4 ammo, so not going to happen most likely. That was again, chaotic early game fights.
Yep, a lot of early game fighting here. Fairly close, although this is a much bigger lead for NYCT.
Ooh, D-Just about to kill Kid Clarkin. He's going down. I don't know if the flash was necessary, though.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sold on the flash, but
the BM was
coming out. Yeah, I'm sold on the BM for sure. But yeah, I mean, flash or no flash, getting the kill there is a really big deal. Now he's sort of out of the danger zone of this kind of matchup where the tanks actually do, sort of out-trade you in the sense of they'll actually do more damage than you in very short trades against the Trundle. So, auto Q auto is often not enough to trade into Scion or something like that, where Scion can pop his shield, like to absorb most of the damage. He can get his Q off, his E off, and auto attack. It's the longer trades that really favor Trundle early on. Now that he has a 2-kill lead and he's getting close to finishing some lifesteal, which he hasn't quite gotten. Oh,
Neko Waifu and Sol Invictus fighting the mid lane. Neko Waifu does miss the W, though.
No ultimate available for Neko Waifu either, so no kill potential. But now that the D-Justice has an even more substantial lead, even the short trades are going to start to favor him into Kid Clarkin here.
Now, Will D-Just want to go for a Sheen item? Well, not Trinity Force, obviously, but oh, a missed ultimate by Soul Invictus, but does hit the light binding, and that's dead. Neko Waifu there. Great
That's a
play
blue
by
buff
Soul.
transfer as well. Really nice for Soul Invictus to get that blue buff over. Win this lane matchup, which is another. Last game Soul Invictus had an unfavorable matchup as well, but this one he ends up winning, at least for now. And so that's really nice for him. Really, really nice for Team Infamous.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, really big deal that they can hold out in this mid lane matchup that should be fairly unfavorable.
Going back to the winning shorter trades idea is Trundle. Will the Sheen item like Iceborne Gauntlet help that while he goes in on... Oh, geez, low rabbit getting caught out. A
nice
W
Jin
from Jin.
W from downtown.
Yeah.
Oh, and a fight in the top lane. Will he just be able to pick this up? I think
Kid
he can.
Clarkin's going to go down. Jeez.
Yeah, he's getting... Quarkles is there, but I don't think he's going to be able to take him out. I think D-Just is going to be just fine.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, this is a massive lead for D-Just in the top lane. 2 solo kills already after Sabin went up there and got him the first one, the first flood. Really, really, really powerful. This is very unfortunate for Kid Clarkin, and he's going to continue falling further and further behind until he learns to respect. Oh, fight in the bottom lane.
Oh, misses the hook again. He just cannot seem to land it. It's unfortunate, but you know what? Practice makes perfect, and he's going to get plenty this game. Looks like they do get the first break at the cost of 2 of their players, but it's 2 for 1 with the first break. So, advantage for the Timberlands.
That was a huge roam by Lux. Had Soul Invictus not been there in the bottom lane, that would have been absolutely devastating for Team Infamous. But Soul Invictus really able to clean up some kills on the backside. Got a double buff transfer as well. So it's really going to be on Soul Invictus to be able to make something of these double buffs, make something of his huge lead. He has completed Morelos to just a lost chapter and Amp Tome on Neko Waifu. And that's without even spending the gold from those last 2 kills.
Yeah, so that's a crazy lead.
Yeah, he has a massive lead, and he is... his entire team at this point in the game right now. They're actually down. Team Infamous is actually down notably 3k gold at this point, and he has this massive lead. And so much of the gold there is concentrated onto Soul Invictus, and it's going to really, a lot of this game is going to be on him. You can see in the bottom lane, there's a pretty big CS lead for Habibi Papi as well. And in the top lane, of course, there's a massive lead for D-Just, not just in CS, but also in kills.
Yeah, it looks like Soul Invictus is going to have to put Team Infamous in his backpack and carry them to victory if they're going to try and pull it out this game. Luckily,
yep, unfortunately, playing Lux against Trundle is going to be pretty difficult when the are ahead. Trundle can pillar behind the Lux, and if you don't have flash, it's probably lights out for you.
Most likely. It's interesting what D-Just is going for here. He's actually like rushing the Titanic Hydra. I don't agree with this, honestly. I think he should either finish into Ravenous, which I think would be better for the lifesteal so that he can sustain in the lane even longer, or just leaving it on the Tiamat and getting either like an Iceborne Gauntlet or a Spirit Visage or something else that gets him more beefiness without it just being pure health.
Yeah, I'm not as big of a fan of the Titanic Hydra these days as I was before. I think, especially when you have this kind of lead, like when this level of lead, the Titanic Hydra is just not as useful as going for Ravenous. It is a dragon being taken here by
Team Infamous is going for it.
Yeah, this is just an Ocean, so nothing too exciting, but it is quite nice to get Ocean Drakes for a Lux, since she does end up having some mana problems in the mid game.
Also, just early game in general, it looks like Kid Clarkin trying to have to ult away. Neko Waifu almost going down, but the stun on the Soul Invictus saves him there.
Yeah, the stun making it so that Soul Invictus can't walk up and get the auto attack. Very fortunate there.
But that's another tower for the New York Timberlands.
Yep, Habibi Papi taking it out, and Kid Clarkin's trying to stay in the area. I think this is really dangerous. By a Nautilus ult there could have potentially taken him out, but KDR didn't go for it. Soul Invictus off of that mid lane push is going to be getting a lot of damage on this turret. I don't think he's going to be taking it out.
Might be able to kill Sabin, though, if Sabin isn't careful.
Oh, hit the binding, but no ultimate
no
on
autos
from
either.
Soul Invictus, so low kill potential. Early game, that ultimate cooldown is fairly long, although it does get quite low as you rank it up and buy more CDR. I believe with 40% CDR, rank 3 ultimate gets to about 30 seconds. So
I think it's like 34, short. So pretty much 30,
34.
like right on the money.
It used to be
Ari
24.
Kya getting blown up there by the Syndra ult almost. Sabin almost going down as well. Soul Invictus.
Curtain call.
Oh, D-Just taking him out. That lead is certainly showing right now. Sabin escaped with his life. That was...
Sabin smiting Quarkles down there. So yeah,
Oh,
that was a nice one.
That was a fantastic spooky scream from Scion there.
Yeah, I'm wondering, is he maxing the Scion E, or is he going for
Let's
Q?
take a look. Yep, he's maxing it.
Yep, so that's the old, very old style Scion. Right after, that's what you used to do. You maxed out your E and you used to poke people in lane. I don't really think it's worth it, but you know, it ended up getting him a kill there, so maybe it worked out this game. That said, that is, I'm sure, part of the reason why he's having such a hard time in the lane against Djust. Without your max Q, you don't really put any threat onto the Trundle. Although, of course, at this point, you know, the Trundle's 4-0. You're not going to be putting threat on him no matter what ability you're maxing.
Right. So we'll have to see how this goes. It looks like Team Infamous is probably going to be in a sour situation for a while here.
Yeah, down 5K at this point. Things are looking very grim for them. I mean, they're down three turrets to 1, and they're, you know, Quarkles is lucky to get that blue buff. You know, even their own jungle at this point is most likely going to have to be seeded over to NYCT. You know, a lot of these jungle camps, this is a, you know, worst thing to happen to you when you're on a jungler on a losing team. You know, your AD carry starts taking your Gromp. He didn't actually finish it in this case, but Quarkles is going to be falling even further behind Sabin than he already is.
Yep, and it looks like... What is this next item for Djust? Because it's just the Chain Vest, but that doesn't build into anything that I think would be advantageous. Sunfire Cave is more an early mid item. Right?
Dead Man's Plate, most likely. So he's going for the fast movement speed, the fast tankiness. So this is more of a tankier Trundle build than most people are used to seeing. Most Trundle builds are, you know, some amount of damage, like, you know, Ravenous Hydra into something like an Iceborne Gauntlet. That's a lot of damage. You know, that's 1.5 damage items basically. This is basically just a half damage. So this is basically one less damage item than normally you would see on Trundle, which is a little bit unusual.
Right.
But I mean, when you have this kind of lead, your build starts to matter less, just because, you know, you have so much of a lead that no matter what you spend your gold on, you just have so much more gold than everyone else. Your build is less relevant.
Looks like they're trying the Fnatic bush on the side of the New York Timberlands. They might get
Quarkles might walk
here.
in.
Ooh,
Stun
a
from
great
Syndra.
stun onto Quarkles. Sabin gonna take him down.
I want to point out, Habibi Papi has been really, really big on these max range Jin Ws, or close to max range Jin Ws. He's had a couple of them this game that have resulted in kills. I think 2 or 3 already, and that one certainly, without that root, I don't think they would have ended up getting the kill. They ran out of CC.
I don't think so
already.
either. The Syndra stun had almost run out.
Yeah. So, interesting siege on the top inner turret here, but, you know, it is only 17 minutes. These top inner are still pretty strong at this point in the game, and you're not going to be diving, even though you're trying tanky build. I don't think you're going to be looking to dive at this point. So they're probably just going to back off, reset. I think they could have maybe taken Rift Herald there, but Rift Herald is a bit weak in the current meta. It's questionable whether it's worth it, although with a strong split pusher, I do think that they should have taken Rift there. Not a big deal that they missed out on.
Right. It does require a fairly large time commitment, though, regardless.
Yeah, it does have a lot of health.
Even with how ahead they are.
Yeah, I think the main reason, the main argument to take it is it does make your Trundle... It allows kill the Scion much more easily. But with this build, I'm suspecting he's not going... This is not a split push build from the Trundle. The Trundle split push build is the Ravenous Hydra into the Iceborne Gauntlet that you typically see. This is more of a team fighting build where he'll be tanky enough to actually stand in the front line and just absorb skill shots from Soul Invictus and, you know, try and pillar out Quarkles Engage, things like that. Not the normal split pushing build that we typically see from a Trundle into a tank matchup.
The question is going to be, though, that in this bracket in general, if that is the better adaptation to go for, because I feel like split push is a lot harder to respond to for these less experienced players in general, because you have to decide, okay, who do we commit, how many do we commit, when do we commit, can they play around objectives? Whereas with team fighting, it's so much easier for them to be like, hey, there's 5 of them, let's make it 5 of us and kill them.
Well, Lux ult burned, and looks like they're going to get the turret anyway. So, yep, taken down easy. So, going to the split push. The split push, and you know, when you have less experienced players, the split push is kind of a double-edged sword, and NYCT is just running straight into this dragon here. But the split push is kind of a double-edged sword. Will they be? They're actually going to contest.
But there's
Looks
no
like
Lux
Neko
ultimate.
Waifu-
There's not much they can do. Neko Waifu just keeping him out with the Syndra stun alone. Ash stun does go down onto Djust, but it doesn't really matter all that much. KDR going to grab Low Rabbit and then brilliant Jin
Really
stun
nice
again
pillar.
from Habibi Poppy. Corkles is coming in on the backside, but Saban's trying to stop him with the stun. Oh my god, Ari Kya's going down as well as Lol Rabbit. Corkles is probably going to be Nest here. Saban getting healed up by Habibi Poppy. Does pop the passive onto Corkles. And it looks like Scion's being chased in the background, but I don't think he's going to go down.
No, I think he's got a bit too much health for that. Oh, a nice pillar, though.
Ooh, Soul Invictus is probably going to go down, but does take
Yeah,
D-Just
the
with him.
Exhaust from KDR came down a bit late to save D-Just. Needed to exhaust the ultimate damage, and didn't end up doing it. There's the Rift Herald going away, so now there's no opportunity for them to take that Rift Herald buff to split push. Looks like they're going to try and siege this inhibitor turret with the kills they got.
If Habibi Poppy can
Corkles
just
is
get a
almost up.
fourth shot onto Clarkin. Sorry, I interrupted there for a second, but if he can get a
It's
fourth
no big
shot
deal.
onto Clarkin, would that kill him? It should, right?
He has a lot of armor. He has Tabby. I don't think so. Tabby are quite powerful against that. So 12% reduced damage from auto attacks in addition to having a decent amount of armor. I don't think that would have ended him, especially considering he had the shield on for most of the time. I don't think Habibi had any opportunity to hit him without the shield up. So unfortunately for Habibi, he didn't get to get the execute damage off there. Also have to note, Habibi here is James Bond 007 licensed to kill, which means he has no kills, of course. So his damage is a little bit.
He's trying. He's support Jin. He's bringing the team together.
Yeah, Nautilus coming up with a couple of kills here. So going back to the split push. So split push is in low elo or less experienced players, low to mid elo, however you want to put it. Like I was saying, double-edged sword. In some ways it's better because it's harder for the enemy team to respond, but in some ways it's worse because it's harder for your team to play around it. So it's actually very difficult to play both with and against split push. And so split push sort of becomes more effective and less effective in those ways. Like your team is much more likely to get caught out 4v5 if you're split pushing, but it's also a lot more likely for the enemy team to just flounder and mess up the engage or Neko Waifu.
Oh, Neko Waifu probably going to go down. Absolutely goes down. Very quick burst.
Did you see that turn from Kid Clarkin? That
I
looked a
did.
little
That was
strange to me.
interesting. I know I've seen somewhere on some forums that if you hit a wall at the right angle on Scion, it just bounces you off of it. So I think that's what that was.
Huh. I do not think I've seen that before. That was very interesting.
I've never seen it in
good.
action. I've only heard of it. So that was an entertaining moment for all of us. We all learned something now.
Yep. So worth noting here that the gold's still very far apart, and with that pick, from Soul Invictus getting that nice binding down, Team Infamous actually has an opportunity to push here to try and get some gold back. So even though they're very far down, they can
I don't
still
know how
do something.
successful they'll be because while Invictus has very strong poke, I don't know if he alone is enough to take it out. D-Just coming in, trying to get Ari Kya. Oh, double stun. And then Soul Invictus tries to ult back, does get Habibi Poppy in it. He goes almost to death, but the redemption saves him, just barely. He's going to ult in now and try and get the cleanup kills on this, but Kid Clarkin's passive actually blocks one of the last shots of the curtain call. Corkles goes back in there, but I'm not sure that was the right move. Lol Rabbit might be going down here. Brilliant pillar from D-Just. He's going to probably
the stun on the Soul Invictus.
Oh, great auto.
I don't think they're getting Soul Invictus.
Oh
Maybe
my
so.
god,
The
Habibi
Jin
Poppy
W
with
again.
these snares.
Habibi was just with the insane Jin W. Still no kills, no deaths.
North
0, 0, and
American
11 on
sniper
Habibi.
here.
The true carry of this team is hitting insane long-range Jin Ws to set up his team, but still has yet to get a kill. So
I'm convinced you could remove his entire kit except for the R and the W, and his team would still be winning because he hits them so much, I say, as Ari Kya goes down to pretty much everything.
yeah, I think at this point we can safely say that without an absolutely outrageously massive throw from NYCT, this game is probably over. They're up at this point over 10k
KDR
gold.
going
They're
down
able to take it
almost, but Neko Waifu
Yeah.
getting was that a 2 or 3 man stun? I think it was 2.
I believe 2, yes. So this game is unfortunately not looking so hot for Team Infamous. I mean, their main methods of getting back into this game are through picking people with a Morgana bind or a Lux binding into the other binding. But at this point, it's going to get to the point where D-Just is going to start buying Magic Resist. Sabin is going to get some more health. This Neko Waifu already has a Negatron cloak. He's going to finish his Abyssal. These champions are just going to be way too hard to pick, and the only reasonable pick target is going to be Habibi at some point. And he may even start buying MR like he did last game. Maybe the Mod Mortius will come in. And it's going to be very difficult for them to even get picks and that's their main method of getting back into this game. And so if they deny all the picks from them by building building MR on most of the champions on NY Timberlands, then it's going to be pretty difficult for Team Infamous to do anything.
Yep, Habibi picking up that red. It looks like they're trying to gear up for a fight here. KDR might be caught out, but it looks like Lol Rabbit and Quarkles are a little too afraid of him. Catching him with a stray binding, though.
No, again, even if they hit one of these bindings, well, in that case, there's no follow. Even suppose that Soul Invictus was closer, I don't think they'd even be able to kill KDR at this point.
Alright,
Quite tanky
having to
with the
blow.
Aegis.
DJ's getting a great Q on the Lol Rabbit. He might go down. Oh my God, Habibi
Another
Poppy,
hit up.
please, my heart.
I don't quite think that one was necessary with Neko Waifu killing there by quite a large margin, but still impressive that he hit it from that distance again.
Oh yeah, he's got it on point. New York Timberlands taking another dragon here. This is just an exercise in closing for them at this point.
Yep, that dragon is an Earth Dragon. It will actually help them take out the rest of the turrets. Not that there's very many left. Only 4 turrets left on the side of Team Infamous, so not too much use out of that part. But they could use it to get the Baron. I don't really think that's necessary, but they could.
No,
if
but it
they
might be
really wanted
nice.
to. Yeah, I mean it's nice. Honestly, one of the few ways that I could see a potential comeback for Team Infamous is if they do get a steal on this Baron. Again, I think that's very unlikely.
That's fair,
and of course, NYCT, it would be very easy for them to zone out Quarkle, so there's no potential steal. But I just don't really see a huge reason to go for the Baron because you don't need it.
Ashault still isn't up from when Arikia had to blow it on D-Just. KDR is going to go down here a little too
many
far
tower
on the tower,
shots.
but ooh. Arikia getting taken out, and just as the Ashault came back up cooldown, Neko Waifu gets taken out by it. Unfortunate timing.
Yeah, an overcommit for sure there by NYCT. And overdives, of course, another way that they could end up losing. Again, they're still up 10k gold and an extra dragon, so it's going to be hard. Even if they consistently overdive for the next 5 minutes, it'd still be hard for Team Infamous to come back, but not impossible.
Ooh, a flash binding from Lol Rabbit. Saban's most likely going to go down here, while on the top side of the fight we have D-Just taking out Soul Invictus. Almost misses, just barely. Kid Clarkin getting low, but Habibi Poppy is trying to have to run from Lol Rabbit here. Probably going down to Quarkles right now. D-Just trying to catch Lol Rabbit.
Yeah, D-Just having
Just
some
barely.
serious problems with getting kited, so unfortunate. Trundle does have limited ability to engage onto people. No gap closer, of course.
Is he going to
and
take
only
both of them
limited
out,
speed
though?
boost.
He might.
Nope. Redemption, plus he's going to need another pillar, but this is a very low CDR build from D-Just, so I don't know when the pillar will be
I
up.
don't know. Yep,
Yeah,
still
that's
3
another
seconds left on
reason-
pillar.
Another reason you normally see the Iceborne Gauntlet onto Trundle, it gives you a lot of CDR so that you have your pillar more frequently. Instead of the Sunfire Cape, that could have been an Iceborne. He would have had more damage, would have taken out Soul Invictus for sure, and he would have had more CDR, so in that end of that fight, he would have gotten Kid Clarkin for sure. So, sort of a build mismatch here. They're not even trying to kill him, so what good does this extra tankiness really do him when he could just be doing more damage with higher CDR?
I don't know about the Sunfire Cape pickup in general, and I don't mean to harp on him because, but it's just an interesting itemization choice because I feel like if you're gonna go the tanky armor route, if you're gonna go anything, you should probably go Randuin's to make you stronger in the late game. Soul Invictus getting gone on by D-Just, but I don't know if he has enough damage.
Soul Invictus
Ooh,
maybe will go
brilliant
down.
Ashault.
Oh, yep. Neko Waifu picking it up and almost
Mega
the
Waifu
one shot.
barely misses killing the Morgana, has to flash out away from the Ash.
Yep. So Quarkle's chasing out KDR, although I don't think that's going to turn into anything. KDR and Quarkle's both quite tanky. I don't know about this two-man Baron here.
Whoo, boy. That's... Ooh.
Well,
oh, boy.
Just a few minutes ago, I said I don't think that Team Infamous can win without the huge throws are happening. So there's a chance they could come back into this. I mean, they've closed the gold gap a little bit. They're only down about 8k now as opposed to 10. So, we're seeing some interesting things happening, but they do have the Scuttle Crab, so I don't think that Team Infamous is going to be trying to sneak a Baron here or anything.
Yeah, there was a little bit of strange decision-making to have 3 in the top lane while the other 2 do Baron. I mean, it would sort of make more sense if D-Just was one of the ones in Baron, or if you had, 2 in the top lane and 3 on Baron.
Jin not exactly known for his ability to do Baron 2-man. Every other AD carry has better Baron DPS than Jin. Jin's ability in terms of Baron is mostly for securing it. His last shot does enormous damage, so it's easy for him to secure the Baron, but difficult for him to actually do it. So it would have been better if D-Just and Sabin had done the Baron. I'm sure they can do it, but with just the Jin and the Elise in the pit, it's difficult for them to actually do the necessary damage, and so they both got executed.
Not to
Also,
mention
obviously, an overcommit.
Both Jin and Elise are so squishy.
Yeah, they're no tank items here on Jin, of course, naturally, and the Abyssal Scepter really doesn't help the Elise deal damage to Baron at all. And the Dead Man's Plate is not the most efficient tank item, so it doesn't really offer full stats. Again, going back to the Moby Boots as well, not an efficient tank item. Gives you no relevant combat stats, and also the Sightstone, another not efficient combat item for fighting Baron.
I do like that adaptation, though. I do like when junglers pick up Sightstone, especially when they're very ahead, because it just helps snowball that vision lead, which is so underrated.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it was a good pickup. I just think that, if you're going to go for a pickup like that, you can't try and two-man Baron with a Jin,
Right,
If with
right.
a more combat-efficient Elise build.
Ooh, Solenvik is getting caught out, barely missing KDR there, and is going to go for the ult on Ari Kya, but the Black Shield should stop it. Korkel's going in. Neko Waifu almost going down here. It's getting close. Oh, Redemption saving him up. Kid Clarkin and Ari Kya are going to go down. Is this the end?
Well, this is at this point going to be 2 inhibitors for sure. Probably the game. This is a 5-4-1 so far. Kid Clarkin probably not picking anybody up, so he's just going to cut the wave. Smart of him to cut the wave.
Oh, yeah.
But wasn't quite able to finish the whole thing, and it looks like KD is probably going to be able to tank enough of this that the game may just end on the spot.
Yeah, it looks like it. The Spiderlings themselves actually helping tanking it up a little. And it looks like it's going to be... Is this a 1-1 tie now?
I
believe
1-1
so.
tie. NYCT and Team Infamous tying it up.
Yep. And that's the end of our Week 1 show match between the New York Timberlands and Team Infamous. I think both teams showed a lot of strengths and a lot of there are a lot of areas where the coaches can help shore up, and I'd like to see a rematch coming somewhere down the line.
Yeah, for sure. That would be interesting. I think main thing to focus on for both of these teams, ending the game was a bit difficult on both teams. Both of them had opportunities, but yeah, overall, great show match.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I hope everyone in the chat enjoyed this stream. I've been Nibiria, and this has been my partner N-Step, and we're here with Learning Fives, and there'll be show match every week, I believe. Is that correct, N?
I believe so, but that's really a question for Blaster, I think. I'm sure you can say in the chat.
He'll be in the chat, and he'll answer it for you. All right, that's it for us for tonight. I'll leave you guys with some music, and then we'll see you next time.
GG's.
GG.